Well, you know, speaking of that guy, Jason Kidd, in that picture, we showed him with a tie on.
Right.
Now he's going tieless, and it's worked. Some of the trends since the calendar has flipped to 2014. Look at New York basketball back on top of the world. The Nets are actually in the 8th spot in the East, Grant.
It's amazing.
The Knicks and Nets have combined for a 7-1 start. The Lakers' struggles continue. And take a look at the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, dropping their 10th game of the season, decided by 4 points or less. Let's show you what went down. Phoenix in town. Well, first, we're going to go to the Nets. And they were just tremendous, forcing 18 turnovers, turned that into 22 points, ending Golden State's 10-game win streak. Third time in franchise history the Nets have ended a win streak of 10 games or more.
Hey, the Nets have the talent. They've struggled, but they're playing good basketball now. They're feeling good about themselves, and they got a great win at home against the Warriors.
And tomorrow night they have the Heat. Let's take a look at Phoenix, Minnesota. Suns down by 1. Gerald Green filling in for Eric Bledsoe puts the Suns up by 1. One last chance for Minnesota. They turn to Kevin Martin, who had 20 points in the night. Point-blank range doesn't go down.
Martin got a great look. They have definitely struggled in late-game situations. You know, it's a tough situation for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel bad for Kevin Love and his teammates.
And here's what Love had to say following the loss. We can't have two guys sitting at the end of the bench that play good minutes just sitting there and not getting up during timeouts. We all need to be in this together. This kind of ticks me off. We're supposed to be a team, and we mentioned the upcoming episode of Inside Stuff this Saturday. One of these segments will be you sitting down with Kevin Love. What is it like for him as a leader within that locker room, and what does that quote mean?
Well, I mean, I had a great talk with Kevin this past Tuesday in Minnesota. It was very cold there.
I bet.
And, you know, we talked about his game, his growth as a player, but also he talked about his leadership and becoming more comfortable being that leader. He's 25 years old, 6th year in the league now, and he talked about being able to be outspoken, being able to challenge guys, being able to encourage and inspire his teammates. And so that's the next step for him in his growth, and I'm excited to see that he saw some things that he didn't like. He called these guys out. I'm sure he did it in private, but he also did it through the media. And sometimes as a great player, as the leader of a team that's struggling and trying to find its way, you have to do those types of things when you're in that kind of role.
But when you're a guy who is among the league leaders in points and rebounds and certainly in that MVP conversation, what he says has to have a lot more weight.
It really does. I mean, you know, coming from Kevin Love as opposed to the last man on the bench,
right.
I mean, here's a guy who has credibility. This is a guy who works hard. He proves it day in and day out. He carries that responsibility of being the best player on the ball club. And him saying something to you, I guarantee you everybody on that team listens.
We saw it earlier in the season with the Warriors not being able to close out close games. Now we see it with Minnesota. Is it just a learning process and something you say, okay, we'll figure it out at some point?
Well, I think sometimes when you lose 10 in a row, then you start to lose confidence.
Right.
And you start to think to yourself, here we go again.
Yeah.
And so, you know, all it takes, as we're seeing with the Knicks and the Nets, is sometimes just having some success in those situations and building that confidence and feeling good about yourself and feeling, collectively, hey, we can do this. We can win it. These last 2 minutes of a close game, guys, we're going to figure out a way to get this win. And right now they have no confidence, and rightfully so.
Yeah, they've blown late home leads to Oklahoma City and to Phoenix in the last week. Got to be frustrating.